Om Shanti. We're living in times where globally we're not at our best vibration. Most of us in the world today believe that it's normal to create fear and anxiety at this time. At a time where it's not one city, one country, but the world altogether. And together, most of the souls on the planet believe fear is normal, anxiety is normal, because the situation is not right. It's a crisis outside. And somewhere we've grown up believing that if there's a crisis outside, then it's natural for the mind also to experience a crisis inside. And Dadi was the perfect example to teach us how this belief system was completely wrong. The situation and the mind have no connection, is what she always taught us. The situation could be a crisis, but the mind can be calm, is what she not only just taught us, but she lived it. We saw it, we learned it, and she empowered us with that belief system. Because her entire life was based on the practical embodiment of this belief, that the mind is hers, the mind is connected to God, and the mind is influenced only and only with God's knowledge, power, and love. And so her equation was very, very clear. The world doesn't influence her mind. People and people's behavior doesn't influence her mind. It's only God's energy, God's love, which empowers her mind. And then she influences the world with her mind. And that's the equation which we all need in the current time. Like Sister Chandru shared, that she had Vachan Siddhi. Vachan Siddhi means whatever she spoke became a reality, not just in her own life, but in the life of millions. Her words were a blessing. And so she said a word to someone, it would become the truth in that other person's life. And Baba teaches us, God teaches us, how to become a soul who can have this Vachan Siddhi, whose words can manifest. And the way to do it is to create the right, powerful thoughts. So before having the power to manifest her words, what she had was the power to manifest her thoughts, Sankalp Siddhi. And why did she have Sankalp Siddhi? Because she created only pure and powerful thoughts. There was no leakage here. There was not single negative waste thought, because her mind was untouched by situations and people's behavior. So the scene around her may not be right. The person's behavior to her may not be right, but she will not create a single waste thought, because her thought will not be based on the scene. Her thought will be based on what God says how to be in this scene. And once when I was with her for a program, and a journalist asked her, Dadi, what is the secret of your energy? At that time, she was around late 90s. And the journalist said, what's the secret of your physical, emotional, mental energy? And he sat down with a notepad and pen thinking that she'll give him a very profound knowledge, deep answers. And Dadi just said 2 words. She said, don't waste it. And he just looked at her and he said, so what next? She said, nothing else. You want energy? Just don't waste it. And he just sat back with that line and he said, is this so simple? She said, it's so simple not to waste what you have. It's not that you want energy, you need energy. You are a divine, powerful energy, but you are wasting it. And I've just learned from God, she said, that I don't waste my energy. So it's not that I have more energy than you. Each one of us is a divine, powerful soul. Each one of us can connect to God. But now it's your choice whether you want to connect with Him and conserve your energy, or whether you want to get influenced by what's happening in the world and deplete your energy. Two ways of living. And because she practiced that for over 80 years in her life, she had mastered the art of creating the right thought, even in the biggest crisis, whether it's in her life or in someone else's life around her or in the world. And when we create powerful thoughts, few thoughts, the right thoughts, then we achieve Sankalp Siddhi, which means every thought we create will manifest. It will become a reality. And we've all heard about it. We've all read the book Secret. We all hear about the law of attraction. And we understand that what we create, what we think, will happen. And yet many of us say, but I thought it should be like this. Why did it not happen like this? Because with one thought, we create many thoughts of fear and doubt. And then that one thought is not powerful enough to manifest. When Dadi left, many of us created a negative, not a negative, but a waste thought in that morning and said, none of us can be there with her right now. We're not able to go to Madhuban. We're not able to go to Abu. And we were just creating a scene that had this been normal time, everyone from all over the world, everyone from 140 countries would have been there. And here, we're not even being able to go there from India, parts of India. And even within Abu, we have 3 campuses, Pandabhavan, Gyan Sarovar, Shantivan. Even there, people were not able to go from one campus to the other. Even Shantivan, where there were 2,000 people around at that time, on that day, they were not allowed to come outside. They had to all be in their rooms and watching it on TV. They were there and yet could not be there. And we created a few waste thoughts which said, why like this? Why for a Dadi who was always there for the world? Why can't the world will be there with her today on this time? Why can't we all be there together? And these were our waste thoughts. These were my waste thoughts. And then I received a message about what Dadi had said about 10 years back. And Dadi had said in a class, when I die, I do not want a rupee to be spent on my funeral. I do not want any flowers on my body. I want everything to come to normal immediately. I don't want anything happening around me when I die. And in that class, she said, this is what I have written in my will, and I want it like that. She must have said it about 10 years back. Many must have heard it that day. But I'm sure if situations had been normal, we wouldn't have allowed that to happen. We would have all been there. We would have spent lakhs of rupees to travel from all over the world to be there, live there for a few days. We would have done a lot that day. But because her thought has to manifest, because her words have to manifest, her deepest desire has to manifest, then she, who lived in that body for 104 years, who had actually experienced very, very critical situations with her body. There have been many, many times in the last 20, 30 years, even I know, when the doctors said, okay, all of you come. We don't know. Anything can happen. And when doctors and medical science said her body is very, very critical, within a few days, she would be back to normal and traveling. She defied medical science many, many times. And once when we were in a program with doctors, she told them, I'll just say it in Hindi first. She said, "Aapki dawa nahi, mujhe Bhagwan ki dua chalati hai." Two words, dawa, medicine, dua, blessings. So she said, my body does not live with your medicines. My body is alive because of the blessings of God and the family. And so just see that a soul who achieved miracles with her body, a very, very fragile body, and she held on to it magically for 104 years. And yet, she chose to leave the body only at that time where her thought would get manifested, her word would get manifested. This is a practical proof of Sankalp se Siddhi. Thoughts manifest, words manifest. She chose this time. And when we saw the last rites, I don't think anybody within the Brahma Kumaris could have their last rites as simple as it was for Dadi Janki. In Abu that day, they were not even able to get a good vehicle for her, like we would have a good big truck decorated with flowers. They could not even get a truck that day. They had to take her in the ambulance of the hospital, which means not a rupee spent. Not a rupee spent. No flowers on the vehicle which were taking her. People were not allowed to surround her body. And she literally manifested her thought, not a single rupee and no flowers on my body. And she left at around 2 a.m. And by 12:30 in the afternoon, it was all over. And that is so typically Dadi Janki's personality. She would always say, okay, what next? Come on, now, what next? She would not allow us to be in some state for a very long time. She would say, Acha, ye ho gaya, abhi next. This is over, now next. In a normal condition, if she would have left when everything was normal in the world, then the whole journey would have been at least for 3 to 4 days, where everyone would have taken time to come from all different countries. Maybe would have kept her mortal coil in different campuses for everyone to meditate there. It would have been at least 4 days. And here, in less than 12 hours, 2 o'clock she leaves, 12:30, the whole campus back to normal. This is Dadi Janki, who was empowering us not only when she was here with us, but is creating miracles with us after she's left her limited mortal coil. She is an angel. Not she was an angel. She is an angel. And she is an angel who created and will continue to create millions of angels just by being who she is. While she was in this body, she did not allow the body to overpower her mind. It was her mind who ruled the body. She was never in one place, even till 2 months back. If anyone has to check the itinerary of Dadi Janki in the last 6 months, every week she was visiting at least 2 cities in India. She was hardly there in Abu in the last 6 months. And now we look at it, it's like as if she had to go everywhere before she left the body. She's traveled abroad in the last 1 year. She went to the US, she went to UK, she went to Dubai, she went to a lot of places. But in India, she's visited so many cities in the last 6 months. Every 2 days, a new place. And when I looked at her traveling and I said, how does she not get tired physically? I understand she doesn't get tired spiritually, emotionally, mentally. But how can a body of 104 years not get tired? Every 2 days, a new city, a new bed, a new room, new food. How does she manage this? Such an inspiration. Because she had that mission. She had to meet everyone. She had to connect many, 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 many new people to God before she left, because her one word would connect them to Baba, to God. And so today, in this situation where everyone's talking about the virus, the fear, the anxiety, and most important, the uncertainty and the future, we're predicting how many months, how's life going to be after this, how's the planet going to be after this. We're thinking and we're speaking, we're predicting our future. This is the time when we really need to hold on to what God has taught us and what Dadi has lived and shown us. Sankalp se siddhi, thoughts manifest. If we just hold on to this one line and start living it right from now, not to think and talk about what we see. Sankalp se siddhi means thoughts manifest, which means do not look at the crisis outside and think about the crisis. Because if we think about the crisis, then we are escalating the crisis with our thoughts. Sankalp se siddhi, thoughts manifest, happens in every individual's life. But when it is the globe, when it is billions of people thinking together, we have the power to either finish the crisis with our thoughts, or we have the power to escalate the crisis with our thoughts, because it is billions of people creating the same thought. If one person's thought can manifest, then what will be the power of thoughts of billions? So the equation is, what you see, don't think about that. Think of what you want to see. Think of the reality you want to create. Not think of the reality which you are seeing right now, but the think and create the reality what you believe is right for you, your family, your country, and the world. Sankalp se siddhi. If Dadi was ever unwell with her body, and we ever went and asked her, Dadi, how are you feeling today? She would not like that line. And she would say, Kyun, mere ko kya hua? Say, what has happened to me? And she would make us understand that the line we have used was wrong. Because we were looking at the body unwell and we were talking about the disease. And she taught us, think and talk only health. Think and talk only happiness. Think and talk only purity and peace, and you will manifest that. And so we were not allowed to go and ask her, are you feeling okay? Is the body fine? Because then we are thinking about the disease. And by thinking about the disease, we are radiating that same vibration to her and collectively, because so many of us would go to meet her. And so everyone thinking and talking about the disease, she taught us that if you do that, then you are escalating the disease. And if all of you talk only about health and blessings and love, I'm going to be fine. So think what you want to see and make it happen. So let's take this and apply it in the current time. 1, the mind is not dependent on the situation. The situation is outside. In Hindi, we call it parasthiti. Parasthiti means the state which is outside me. And the mind is here. In Hindi, we call it swasthiti, which means the state which is inside. So this is the inner state and this is the outer state. The outer state does not influence the inner state. The inner state influences the outer state. Energy flows from inside out. And so instead of saying fear is normal, anxiety is normal, Panic is normal. Let's change the definition of normal today. We want to see a happy, healthy planet. We want to see a planet where everyone's back to their normal life. We want to see a planet where every soul is safe, where everybody is healthy. That's what we want to see, and that's what we want to create. And if that's what we want to create, then that's what we will need to think. And which means if at this moment there is crisis outside, then to create calm outside, each one of us needs to create calm inside. We need to radiate vibrations of calm to every soul. We need to radiate vibrations of calm to the planet. Our thoughts will manifest. We all have the power today to heal the planet. So let's change the equation and say, if there is a crisis, then fear is the one thing which we cannot create. Anxiety is definitely a thing which we cannot create. To heal the planet, we have to raise our vibrations. But if we lower our vibrations, then we're only adding pain to the planet. We're only radiating pain to every soul on the world. So let's change our equation and say, in the present time, in the present moment, peace is normal. Stability is normal. Thoughts of health is normal. Thoughts of a normal life is normal. Thoughts of happiness is normal. Thoughts of a beautiful world is normal. This is normal because I, the soul, have the responsibility to create this. Once we start reminding us this every day, that right now my responsibility is to create calm inside. That's my contribution to heal the world. We're looking at the world and we're saying, what's the role of the government of the country? What's the role of the healers? What's the role of the security officers? Let's stop and ask myself, what's my role in the current situation? Sitting at home, not having much to do. Some of us are complaining. Some of us are getting irritated. Some of us say we're bored of sitting at home. All these are low vibrations. So first we were creating fear, anxiety, panic. Then we're creating irritation, anger, and boredom. All these are low vibrations. We cannot afford to create a single low vibration thought, a single low vibration word. Our role, every thought elevated and every word blessing. Dadi Janki had Vachan Siddhi, but each of us has the same power. Each soul has the power to manifest their thoughts and words. But for that, we just need to conserve our energy. Let's do it as an experiment together, all of us. We're almost 1,000 of us together here. Just for 24 hours. Because if you do it for 24 hours, then doing it after that is going to become very simple and natural. Just for 24 hours. Don't speak about the virus. Don't talk about it. If you want to finish something, you have to stop thinking and talking about it. Wherever our attention goes, energy flows. And when energy flows, things grow. If everyone all over the world will only think and talk virus, 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 only that, listen to that, watch that, read that, think that, talk that, then that's where attention is going. And if that's where attention is going, energy is flowing there, things are growing. It's the role of only some people to think and talk about that, and they're playing their role. The healers, the government, the officers, they have to think and talk about that. They have to check the statistics. We don't need to know the statistics. Our role is to change the statistics. We don't need to know every 15 minutes So now what more? Where in the world? Where has it reached? What is the figure today? We don't need to know this. We don't need to, because our role is to finish it. And for that, the first protection, we need to stop reading, listening, watching, thinking, talking about it. Now it would seem, how is possible? How can we not think and talk about that? Because it's our responsibility not to think and talk about that, because that's the only way to finish it. If we talk only disease, if we talk only death, if we talk only a financial crisis, then vachan se siddhi, thoughts and words manifest, because it is thoughts and words not of one or hundred, it's thoughts and words of millions. But if the thoughts and words of millions will be of health, will be of life, will be of normalcy, will be of financial boom, then that's what will happen. This is certain. We only need to experiment with this. So 24 hours. If we want to know what's happening in the world, then just 10 minutes. Give yourself 10 minutes any day. Just 10 minutes to know, okay, I just need to know what's happening. If you need to know what's happening. Actually, we only need to know how we have to protect ourselves and everybody else. We don't need to know what's happening. But even then, if you feel you need to know what's happening, keep 10 minutes in the day, take the update information of what's happening, and full stop. Not more than 5 to 10 minutes. But what we are doing presently is almost every 10-15 minutes, we want to know what's happening. So whether we open our message box, whether we go to social media, whether we go to media, whether we switch on the news, whether the newspaper, we're just thinking and talking only that, because we are watching, reading, listening. If we watch, read, listen only that, then fear will escalate. And if fear will escalate, then we are spreading negativity and pain to the world, to those who are taking care of the world presently, to those who are not well, to those who have left, to the families of those who are not well, or to the families of those who have left. We cannot radiate pain to the world. If we do that, then we are not playing our responsibility and role right. So just 5-10 minutes in the day to know what is happening, and the rest of the day, a promise to ourselves. I will not watch, read, listen about the current situation. I will not. Because if I read it, then I have a crisis here. So I will not watch, read, listen to the current situation. Nothing, no news. Replace that with watch, read, listen what you want to become. We want to be calm. We want to be powerful. We want to be peaceful. We want to radiate healing energy to the world. We want to radiate happiness and health to the world. Watch, read, listen. Only that. That's where spirituality, spiritual study is such a big tool in the present time. Only watch, read, listen. For the last few days, I've just been watching and listening about Dadi. And because I was just watching and listening only about her, it's just taken me in my own energies to a higher level, because whole day I was just watching and listening only about her. I was just listening to everyone's experiences about her. And that's how important it is what information we take in. So just watch, read, and listen. Only purity and positivity. If you do that for also only 3 days, anybody can do this just for 3 days, and you will see your fear, your anxiety, your panic coming down and finished. Situation outside may not change in 3 days, will not change in 3 days. But here will change in less than 3 days. And when things start changing here, things will start changing outside. Let's not talk about how long is it going to be. Will it be 1 month more, 2 months more, 3 months more? No. If anybody wants to talk about the virus, then say only one word. It's finished. It's gone. It's over. Just one word here. If the word virus pops up on the screen of your mind, just say one word. Send it a very powerful message. It's finished. It's gone. It's over. If you want to think and talk about the world, then just say one line. The world is normal, beautiful, healthy, back to what it used to be. In fact, better than what it used to be. Because a lot of us have learned very, very valuable lessons in the last few days. And so when we are going to come back with our realizations, which we never paused to introspect, check, because we always said we never have time. And so time offered itself to us. And time said, okay, take all the time that you want and think and reflect and connect to yourself and to the one above. And so when we are going to come back to our so-called normal life, we're going to be different from what we used to be. Deep realizations, a new way of thinking, a new way of living, a new way of working, a new way of prioritizing life. Because what the last few days have taught us is priority. What was the priority in my life? And so let's start seeing that world already. Every day, see that planet. Don't see the scenes of the present crisis. Start seeing here, because what we see here, we will see outside very soon. Start seeing a world where everyone's realized that taking care of the self, the mind and the body is the most important thing. Where everyone's understood that some time for the self on a daily basis is a necessity. Where everyone's understood and accepted that wealth cannot always be the answer to every problem. The self, connection with God, harmony within the family is what's most important. We're all back with that understanding and realization. See a world where there's no trace of the virus, not even on anyone's mind. It's over, it's gone. See a world where everybody is healthy. See a world where the economy is higher than it's ever been. See the world. See it here. Think it that way. Talk about it that way. See it here. And very, very soon. Sooner than what we're thinking. Sooner than what media is telling us. Because what media, information and statistics will tell us will be based on the current reality. What we will create will be based on the power of the mind using the power of God. And that will change reality completely. Instead of creating a thought, what if that happens to me? What if it happens to someone in my family? What if it happens to so and so? Just create a thought every day. God's energy, God's purity and power is a circle of protection around me. Please create this circle every day. God's purity and power is a circle, a golden white light circle around me. And nothing can enter in this circle. And nothing means no virus. And nothing means no pain and fear and anxiety of the world. Nothing can enter in this circle. I'm surrounded only by God's energy. Then circle your family with God's peace and power. Then circle your city with God's power. Then circle the country. And then circle the planet. See this scene every day in your meditation. God's purity, God's power, God's love is a circle around this planet. The planet is safe. The planet is secure. The planet is healthy. Bless the world. Our every thought, our every word is a blessing. Thoughts manifest, words manifest. Once we remember this, then even if we start talking about it, we will immediately stop and say, no, I'm not to say anything which I don't want should happen. And once we start doing that, people around us will change. They will start changing their conversations. They will start changing the way they think. Once we finish the fear and anxiety from our minds, our immunity systems will be better. We will feel safe and protected. We will not attract any pain into our life. We will only create health and happiness in our life. It's happening here. Sankalp se srishti. Thoughts create the world. Words create the world. Let's only think and speak the world we all want to see. And that's why I believe that Dadi's life is a perfect solution to this present situation. Her entire life was based on this. She's seen so many situations in her life, not just with the physical body, but otherwise, which anybody would call a crisis. But she emerged victorious from every crisis because she did not allow the crisis to influence her mind. She used God's power, knowledge, and the power of her mind to finish the crisis. And so she's a living embodiment of the solution we need for today's situation. And if each one of us starts doing that, creating a ripple effect of that energy into the world, sharing it with all our friends and families and contacts, share it till it reaches the world that we are the creators of the world. And let's all create happiness, health, and peace and normalcy on this planet by only watching, reading, listening, thinking, speaking high energy thoughts, pure thoughts. Let's sit together for a few minutes and do it right now. And then do it every day. The first thought in the morning. The first thought of the morning is very important because the first thoughts that we will create will come back on our minds many times in the day. And so the first thought, even before you get out of bed, before you even think about the normal day-to-day routine, the first thoughts would be these thoughts which we will create for the world. The last thoughts before we go to bed, very, very important. So these two times are very critical. First thought in the morning and last thought before going to bed. Because just before we go to sleep, whatever will be our last thought will be on our mind for the next 5-6 hours while we sleep. And then many times during the day, at the Brahma Kumaris, we do traffic control, which means we pause for a minute every hour. And in that 1 minute, again, we will create the same thoughts. Every time we have our meal, we drink a glass of water, a cup of milk or tea or coffee. We really need to take care because right now, everything that's there in our plate, our cup, our glass, may be vibrating with the frequency of fear and anxiety because it's coming from those resources. It's coming from the world where that vibration is there. So just for a few days, and then very soon you'll start doing it every day. Don't start eating. Don't start drinking it directly. Just pause for 10 seconds. Connect to God. Radiate God's energy into that food, into that cup of tea. And then create that same affirmation. If we do it that way, we will be repeating it at least 15 to 20 times in a day. Any thought, any word, repeated 15 to 20 times in a day, every day, has to become a reality. It has to. So let's do it for a few minutes now. And then we do it many, many times in the day. You can choose your own words, use your own vocabulary, but just the method has to be right. That what we want to see a reality, we have to think and speak that it has already happened. Sit back. I am a divine being. My every thought is pure and peaceful. My every word is a blessing. Divinity is my personality. I am a divine being. My body is perfect and healthy. My body is perfect and healthy and will always be. My body is perfect and healthy and will always be. My job is safe. My business is secure. My life is perfect. My immunity system is the highest. I'm protected always. God's purity and power is a circle of golden light around me. Please draw this circle right now. God's purity and power is a circle of golden light around me. This is my protection shield. I'm protected by God's energy. Nothing, absolutely nothing can enter this circle. God's purity and power is a circle around my family. My family is protected by God's powers. God's purity and power is an energy circle of golden light all around the planet. My world is protected by God's power. My world is safe. Every soul is filled with God's energy. Every body is perfect and healthy. Every soul is happy, and each one's body is perfect and healthy. It's a beautiful world. The world which I always wanted is a reality now. I, the pure being, with God's energy, is a creator of this world. It's my responsibility. Om Shanti.